Hey everybody, it is Justin, your guide into the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult, and yes, this is how it feels to join the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult. Okay, enough gloating aside. Thank you to DYOR Lab for making this sick AI update for my wizard. Such a good meme. And you guys might be wondering, okay, I've been seeing the timeline. You know, I like Runiverse, I like Magic. I'm part of Web3. You know, I want to pick out my first wizard. Where should I begin? Yes, I'm going to talk about that. As well as, you know, what you can do with your wizard inside of, say, you know, the context of the Runiverse, as well as world building and having access to the Runiverse and what that will do. But okay, how did I pick my first wizard too? Like, I picked my wizard because it looked cool, and most of you guys are going to do the same, right? You're going to pick a nice aesthetic. I picked my black robe up because it was sitting on the floor, and I was like, I need to get that. Well, actually, no, it was like maybe 50% above the floor, but that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I really liked the blue, the blue blinders on the front. Looked so clean, especially with the black. I should probably be wearing a black sweater, but yeah, we're kind of unprepared, so it's totally okay. Again, it's just like, man, what do you want your digital identity to be? What do you identify with the most? And personally, I saw I think Merlin's wizard inside of the Other Side trailer, and I was like, oh man, that's it. And that's the only one I could buy at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm locked in. So I got into the wizard cult, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? It seems like there's a Runiverse game. Seems like there's a lot of stuff going on. So okay, where do you even pick? Where do you even start? Like, of course, I'm going to show off mine. You're going to probably want to take a look at the 3D model. Here, I just have my other page. I've integrated all of my stuff inside of the other page UI, but we'll take a look at that in the context of the marketplace as well. It's going to be important to look out for something very specific. I would say what was important to me in particular was having a loreless wizard, right? I wanted to start, personally, I wanted to make my own story in the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult, mainly because, okay, I actually have one up here. I was actually going to pull over to Forgotten Market. I was going to talk about this in the context of traits, but like having a wizard without lore is going to enable you to start, you know, fresh, right? Again, you can totally inherit a wizard with lore. That's totally fine as well. In this case, again, when you are looking for specific, again, you can take a look at the bottom, right? If you're on Forgotten.market, you'll be able to see whether there's been any lore that's been recorded. And again, you can upload. We'll take a look at what lore will be used for in a second. But again, that's just kind of like the D&D, build your character inside of the Runiverse, write your story, put your rune on the door. And again, why don't we just talk about traits, right? So one of the best things about the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult is there is a 2D and a 3D model to choose from. I found this extremely useful because, again, I'll show this 3D model in a bigger context too. But again, the 2D model, of course, pixelated. Love a good pixel art style. And again, you're going to notice there are different traits too. Of course, the wizard head as well as the body, along with, you know, if there is a, if there is a, whatchamacallit, a familiar, right? And this wizard has a red mamba. You can kind of see, and honestly, personally, my opinion is like, just pick something that you really like, right? Just pick something aesthetic that you like the most and just roll with that, right? Again, of course, the only stipulation is whether you want there to be lore or not. And again, the Forgotten Runes, the Forgotten.market is probably a good place to start, especially since you can browse all of the official collections on this left panel here. You can take a look at the wizards. Of course, I would just say the wizards are probably the best to choose from. It is the flagship product inside of the ecosystem. But again, if you did want to choose a warrior, you can do that as well. This is kind of like, I guess in the context of the wizard cult, it's like magic and might, right? And again, the warriors tend to be on a lower, you know, I guess easier to acquire just because they are cheaper, right? And again, I'm not going to talk about price in this particular video. That's not the purpose of this video. I just wanted to go through aesthetics and just kind of look through a couple of the wizards and warriors because again, this is like where to start. If you wanted to build your character out as a warrior, by all means, you can do so. But just keep in mind, like if you're playing the Runiverse game, currently only wizards are supported for the, like, you know, having an in-game skin. And again, that skin is entirely your own unique, and you'll be able to play as that inside of the Runiverse. But again, this is your character. This is how you're going to build it the way that you want. And we'll take a look at the 3D models too. But again, what I really enjoy inside of the wizard cult is like, I like the Dark Sister head trait here. Super sick. I like the blue hair personally. And again, there are some awesome wizards here as well. There are a lot of nice ones on the floor too. I like the Star Staff, super sick. And again, there are some really, really cool wizards as you just scroll through all of these. Dang, there's a white robe. Okay, I like the white robe ones too. These are pretty sick. They look pretty dope in my opinion. Just so clean, just so clean. But again, you can take a look at the traits here as well. Again, there's a head, there's a body, there's a familiar, as well as a prop. This one has a peace staff, and it is pretty aesthetically white focused here. So that's pretty nice. The background, you can also see the background as well as the runes too. I like the runes too, mainly because, well, this one doesn't have a rune, but it has a, sometimes they have planetary runes, which is pretty sick, pretty aesthetic. And then again, you can kind of see, whether it has lore as well as what affinity for magic it has. And again, I won't necessarily explain the context of affinity, just because I'm not that deep yet, guys. but again, of course, if you wanted to check out, things like the souls too, you can. Again, I would say the souls are looking pretty sick. There are some ones like coffins, which are really funny. But yeah, the souls are a little bit more Halloween themed in my personal opinion. But I really like them as well. There's also things like ponies, beasts, spawns, sacred flames. So if you wanted to convert your wizard into a soul, you can do that as well. And what that process is, it basically burns your wizard and it rolls a soul. This is, I remember in Wizard Wednesday, actually, I think this Wizard Wednesday, they talked about how, using a sacred flame is probably the highest magic you that you could do inside of the Runeverse. And again, we'll talk about that later. So again, there's other things as well. But again, I wanted to take a look at, if you've already picked out a wizard that you like, what can you do with it, right? And again, I would say, the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult is all about taking charge of writing your own story, building out your own character, and I've largely done this with my own wizard here, right? And again, I would definitely go to ForgottenRunes.com and take a look at the characters in the 3D form, because this is going to be where you're probably going to be able to see it in its larger 3D aspect. You'll be able to see all the emotes and stuff like that. But again, I will go over the Book of Lore in just a moment, mainly because I have written out a couple of pieces. So again, this will bring you to the Book of Lore. This will essentially give you a brief overview of the Forgotten Runes Book of Lore, as well as like the meta narrative, like what is magic, what factions are there, what are the politics, and of course, a lot of that can be seen inside of the trailer for the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult. It kind of goes over it kind of shows a lot of the biomes. And well, actually, I think the trailer just plays when you open this up. This is literally the trailer that you see, and like the the animations on point reminds me of like Castlevania. It kind of mixes like technology as well as magic, so I like that. I like that contrast. And of course, we have the Quantum Shadow here as well. So if you like politics and factions inside of a bustling world, fantasy, then definitely check that out. But I like, it's so easy to get sidetracked in the Forgotten Runes ecosystem. I should probably pull up lore. So why don't I go to wizards? Yeah, wizards. And again, this will pull up the specific wizard entry. And again, when you do connect your wallet, you will be able to edit your lore as well. Honestly, I should probably edit this to my wizard, which is 2262. So I'll pull that up right now. And again, my wizard is Runecaster Ozor of Limbo. And I did put, you do have the ability to upload art of your choice. And of course, I have my wizard here with some flavor text, some flavor quotes, as well as, just the baseline story of what I really want my wizard to be doing inside of the Runeverse. And again, mine is all about, he's kind of like a ley line investigator, exploring why the magic has become unstable across the Runeverse. So again, I could just read this out right now, but I don't know. I guess I should just read it, right? So again, this is kind of where you're going to explain who your character and who you are inside of the Runeverse, right? And again, I did want mine to be kind of like I don't really know how to explain it. I should probably just go into it, right? So all knowledge sits at the fore of the mind's eye. I cannot see, but that does not mean I do not understand. And again, you can write your story based on how your wizard characteristics are. He has the, whatchamacallit, he has it covering his eyes. And again, I I mean, I have glasses and like it's hard to see, it's hard to see without it on. So I found that particularly um, relatable in that sense. So I wanted to convey that in the Runiverse, right? So it's like the leyline investigation. A wondrous breeze of crisp mountain air skims Ozer's face as his footprints dot the snowy path. A gentle hum of magic ley lines deep within the mountain pass groan against the dominating weight of the cosmic sky. Turbulence. But nothing out of the ordinary. Ozer picks up a mana crystal buzzing with starlight, eyeing it first, then pocketing it in his leather pouch. These types of crystals are not supposed to form here, usually suspended high in the runic constellations. A disapproving frown appears on Ozer's face as a great rumble echoes through the silent peaks. The ley lines are moving. Not good. Further research is necessary. And again, you can build your lore out however you want. I did have some guides on how to write out your lore. You can use AI to help you, of course. I actually did take the time. I personally do like to have a lot of control over my narrative that I like to build. And I only use AI for the art generation because I'm not an artist. But I did like to put some edits up here. I did make some nice art over here too. So I did go with this semi-anime, a realistic style. And again, they can really, I mean, it takes a couple generations, but you could put out some pretty nice, sick stuff on the timeline. So again, feel free to drop that into your wizard lore entries as you see fit, of course. I do like the second and third pages of my wizard lore, but for the sake of the length of the video, I'm not gonna explain it. I'm just not. It's too much. So again, that's one of the strengths of the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult. You are invited to co-create the lore, write your story, and help build out. Because essentially you do own a portion. You are invited to tell your story. Man, I can't explain how nerdy and D&D that is, but if you like that type of stuff, this is gonna appeal to you. And again, also I did want to talk about, if you write your story inside of the Book of Lore, that does serve as the source material for the magic for Magic Machine, as the Magic Machine media creations, right? So again, this is all about co-creation. I remember seeing Magistevan or Matatsuki write a lot of lore entries into his wizard book of lore entries, and it's very, there's a lot of commissioned art in here, and again, you can always commission art, write out your story, and just put so much stuff inside, and that does translate over to, like, say, we had a tweet from Bearsnake on April 26th. We had comic issue number 4. Order link below. And again, he did have an image of, I wish I could zoom in on this much easier, but Twitter is gonna not help me out. But basically, you can see Matto's wizard inside of the comics, which is ridiculous. That's crazy. And I know I did see Wazir's wizard as well, fighting the big chicken. That was like a Kamehameha. That was so sick. So again, if you guys are interested in just having that start point, and possibly seeing your stuff inside of the comics, I mean, that is what this project is all about. Of course, there's just so many good creators in the space, and again, Matto did talk about amazing to be featured inside of this. The cover is amazing. The multiple art styles allows more ways to kind of see the wizards inside of the Runeverse. That's just crazy. But I know I'm talking about the Book of Lore a lot, right? And honestly, there's just so much more inside of the Wizard Cult than I can really explain in just one video. And again, if you wanted to get started, you should just start on the Wizard Marketplace. But again, just keep in mind that buying an NFT, buying a wizard is basically just your relationship to the wizard itself, right? You have to like it, so you better pick out something that you like aesthetically and that you will be building yourself. But no pressure. But you should definitely put your page in the Book of Lore and make some art for that if you can. So at the very end of the day, I would default to Dota's big speedrunning thread on what is Forgotten Ruins, right? It's a vast world of characters. It's a TV show. It's video games. There are airdrops and tokenomics. Okay, maybe less. Okay, I don't want to talk about airdrops in the video, but and again, it's all about fantasy, right? It's an MMORPG. You know, there's going to be a TV show at some point, right? We'll see that. We were already seeing the comic book series, and again, they have hosted some pretty sick live events as well. So that is pretty sick, and it kind of goes over the world of the Runeverse, as well as, you know, the quantum shadow that looms as an ominous presence, right? And then again, the map of the Runeverse is just so wild. I remember Elf posting. I think Elf posted a map that was in the spherical version, which is the globe of the universe. Spherical propaganda. Okay, I'm not gonna go into that. Bit of a meme here, but again, we have amazing content creators inside the space, co-creating the lore, of course, of what I've already explained. There's just so much stuff inside, honestly, that it would take too long to explain everything. And of course, I'll link all my other videos that I've made on the Forgotten Runes wizard cult in the description below. But again, I'm super excited for the Runeverse. I definitely want to play as my wizard this time. Definitely get some airtime for Ozar in the fighting off some mobs, because last time I was just bald-headed Lex Luthor in the game last time, if you might have remembered. And again, hopefully we'll be able to. Man, I'm excited for building too. You know, having, you know, homesteads and stuff like that. And again, it's just going to be a great time. So hopefully you like this video. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button. It always helps me create more content. And of course, hope to see you guys in the Forgotten Runes Wizard Cult. Peace.